Hi, this is Josh again, and I'm going to continue from last time where I did PHP Basics Part 1. This is Part 2. And I looked in the last one, here's the code, some functions and constants and variables, and talked a little bit about the fact that this variable isn't defined inside here. And just because that means that I can't really have, if I have two methods that are two functions here, function, right, and I wanted to like share default name between these two. It can't do that, right? Like if this value is empty, I want to use this. There's no clean way to do that. PHP does have a global variable that you could use to solve this, but I don't recommend it, especially just they exist for a reason because the solutions that we use today didn't exist in the language a long time. Try and avoid them. Here's what we could do instead is use a class. Instead of having this little function, we just say things, and then classes can have properties, which are like variables. We start by saying public or protected. That's the visibility, and just pause, just accept public for a second. Okay. So now I copy these two functions into here. So if we didn't pass anything here, we can say like name equals this name. And then this one maybe would just be like return hello. This name. So I can create a new instance of this class. And then I can name equals Josh. And then so I would expect this when I don't pass anything to hello to say hello Josh, and then on this one it'll override that. Let me get rid of this stuff here. Oh, we need to put echoes here. So this one picked up this default from there. This one picked up what was being passed in as a variable. And then this one here also used this property. And so, as I said a little bit ago, I think we call this a method because it's a function inside of a class. Also because methods have a special thing that classes don't have, which is, which functions don't have, which is visibility. So by default, these are public. We should always put that unless we want to make it protected. So let's start with a new class here. Let's say product. I might want to protect I might want to protect ID, and so that way it can only be set in specific ways. So and so then I would have a method like this that returns this ID. And this is helpful when we use what's called the constructor, which is one of the magic methods that PHP has. magic methods start with 2 underscores. And so construct ID, this ID equals ID. So we can say like product 1 equals product 5, 4. And so what's cool about these, you see it echoes 1 and then it echoes 4, is that these can represent different products, like WooCommerce has WC product as a class. Yeah, that you can use, then has all sorts of methods related to products. And instead of acting on a general product or having to pass in the product ID every time, when you say like get ID or get orders, right, it gets the orders of the current product. Sometimes that's not useful. Sometimes you want it, some things like helper methods. For example, like I'm going to use what's called static here. Get asset URL. So this is going to return something like we would pass to something like style.css, and then we would have, I don't know, path, whatever that is. We probably use a WordPress function in front of it. But the point is that we would call this a little bit differently, this class, because we're calling this static method. We'd use these 2 dots here, something. Right, we get this path slash something there. And we can't mix, like if I had protected ID here, it would be against the rules for me to say this ID equals 5. Right, I'm not allowed to use this because this isn't really an object, it's static. So I would have to do static here and then do static ID like this, but it doesn't make any sense because there can't be different helper classes. So we would use that for something like base path equals path, and then see we use it here. This kind of makes sense. So static classes can take advantage of static classes, sort of a thing that I like to say, when many people would say, it's not really it's just when we refer to classes where all the methods are static, is for the most part, it does not make sense to mix static and non-static methods in a class. There are a few times it does, but try and avoid it. But we can still, this is like a group of functions where we might want to have something that we don't want any other classes to be able to use, but function like whatever, like add the base path. And then I can use this here. And that's all well and good. But I have some error on 23. Oh, and put a semicolon there. And so this works, but if I tried to use this protected method, I would get an error. Right, call to member on null. Oh, sorry, that's not the right error. That's from these. Now we can see the error. Call to protected method, which I can't do. Whereas what we had before, we called the protected method from inside of the public method. So that's a little bit about classes, which you can use as either groups of functions using a class made out of static classes, static methods, and then you can access static properties, or you can have a product that represents an object. It's a type of thing. You have helper methods and properties, such as this one here, and we create that with the new keyword. So product equals new product. Right, this construct method gets called when we do use the new keyword. So that's just a little bit about how classes work. A little intro for WordPress plugin developers. If you enjoyed this, found it useful, check out other videos, and go to pluginmachine.com to subscribe. Thanks.